Hello everybody, I just came back from watching Hello everybody, I just came back from watching Who Framed Roger Rabbit 2. Out of all the movies that are going to come out in 2022, this was the one I was looking forward to the most. I think it's because of the fact that I really like the movie genre of cartoon characters interacting with the real world. But recently in 2021, there have been movies of the same concept that have been really bad, like the stupid Tom and Jerry movie and the Space Jam: A New Legacy, which were, well, bad. So I was pretty worried for this movie since it's literally in the same time period as these movies. Thankfully, this movie is pretty good and my favorite movie of 2022. Please take note, I only said favorite and not best, and I've only watched 2 movies in 2022. Originally, I wanted to make a review of the quintessential quintuplets movie, because content. Unfortunately, it came out the same day as this movie, and so I decided to watch this movie first. And also, this movie didn't come out in my country on 20th May. Anyway, back to the video. I'll be getting into spoiler territory now, so skip to this time frame to avoid spoilers. But let's start talking about the problems I have with this movie. This movie is freaking boring at some moments. And I think one of the reasons why is because the pacing is so weird. There are some scenes where the pacing is super fast, and there's a lot going on. But then there are some scenes where the pacing is pretty slow. But I think the main reason why I don't like the pacing is because there are so many unnecessary scenes. There's this scene where Dale gets a call from his agent. And another scene where Chip confesses to Dale, and those never come back in the movie. Like, what the hell? Speaking of these 2 unneeded scenes, I have no idea what is the message of the movie. Is it about business being less important than friends, or is it about not making others second banana? I have no idea. There are a lot of cliché tropes in this movie, which makes the movie very predictable, and I don't like it. There's a scene where Dale dies. And I immediately knew he was going to wake up, like it's not even a challenge. There's also another scene, where Chip is captured by Sweet Pete, and then, this one officer girl gives Dale a clue where they are and what happened to them, and Dale solves the clue because yes. Speaking of the officer, I kinda not like her. Guys, I literally watched the movie to see Chip and Dale, not some random fangirl simping for squirrels. Like, you could literally remove her from the plot and nothing would drastically change. Speaking of the characters, I kinda don't like Chip and Dale in this movie. I didn't like Chip since he acted like a selfish jerk at the start, and I don't like Dale, because he's annoying. I mean, they were always like that, so what was I expecting? I'll talk about the parts I'm neutral about later, but now let's just focus on the stuff I really enjoyed about this movie. This movie is the funniest crap I've ever seen. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 was the funniest movie of 2022. And yet this movie has a joke that's made me laugh harder than any joke in Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Time for me to get the elephant out of the room. I freaking loved the cameos. I enjoyed Ugly Sonic's cameo and his recurring joke about his teeth. Some people may find that annoying, but I personally found it hilarious. I also really like Pete Aladdin. That was really cool, and the legacy Pete deserves. I also really like Dale's other friends, they were really wholesome. None of the cameos felt like cheap IP slaps, unlike some movies, which is good and I respect that. Speaking of the characters, I really like the twist villain. Like, the twist is weird, and doesn't make that much sense, but I think what makes me really like this Clay guy is the fact that he is very overpowered. Can we all ignore the fact that the Phantom has the same powers? I didn't copy, I swear. I also really like the Peter Pan villain, that was a cool concept. It's no surprise he gets the best line in the entire movie.
Yeah, death is coming for us all, kid. You serious?
Anyway, I also wanted to say that the soundtrack slaps. Leitmotifs are my biggest weakness. So if you have an entire orchestra playing the Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers theme, you know I'm totally in for the idea. The last thing I would really like to compliment is what this movie is supposed to symbolize. It is a movie celebrating animation. Whether it is stop motion, CGI, hand-drawn, heck, even a sock puppet was in this movie. This movie celebrates all kinds of animation styles. It even touches the topic of terrible mockbuster bootleg rip-off movies, which is neat. What I do respect from this movie is definitely the effort placed into working on this film. You can tell lots of effort was placed in making this film, and you can tell that everyone who worked on this movie actually gave a damn about Chip and Dale, and that is really special. Okay, so now for the things I'm neutral about. Don't worry, this won't take long. The gadget and zipper thing was really cute, but OMG, that's cursed. The animation and the voice acting was pretty weird. Another thing that I find weird is how the universe where toons are in the real world is kinda weird. Like, how is that made? There is a sock puppet in this movie. And it's canon that not all animated things are toons. So like, help. And also it's canon that Chip and Dale are actually brothers. But this movie says that they are friends. Like, what the actual hell, writers? Too lazy for a plot device? And also the bootleg toons made me feel strangely uncomfortable. I think it is a me thing and that I have slight OCD, but seeing those imperfect toons make me want them to return to their original toon form. Like, God, please help us. Also, Nozomi Tojo is not in this movie. I hate this movie now, 0 out of 10. And that's my super detailed review on the Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers movie. I'm certainly not missing anything that everyone is talking about, and I would rather walk away from the topic before anyone sends me death threats and I get depressed and I can't make the Alupier movie which I want to finish. To summarize my entire thoughts on this movie, it's enjoyable to watch. I know I did talk a lot about its bad parts, but to be honest, the bad parts of this movie don't really stick out as much as the good parts of this movie. The neutral parts of this movie is a different story. I'm still weirded out by those. Overall, I'm just really happy that this movie wasn't as bad as other live-action movies with cartoon characters. Clearly The Bad Guys is a better film. But this movie is so fun to watch that I like it more than The Bad Guys, although I do prefer to re-watch The Bad Guys to this movie. There's just so much to offer and so much for lots of people to enjoy. I mean, who wouldn't find Man hilarious? You can tell lots of people really wanted this movie to do well, and really placed in their hard work to it. Although it isn't the best movie I've seen, I suggest for fans of cartoon characters in the real world genre people like me to go check out this movie, if you haven't. It's just that much fun, and the most fun I had with a movie in 2022. Other than Morbius, that movie is definitely more superior than any other godlike movie I've ever watched in my life. Anyway, enough with reviewing, now it's time for me to go play Yume Nikki, get all 24 effects, and then get the good ending where Madotsuki meets with her dad, and get the full name reveal. Yume Nikki review coming if this video gets 10 likes. Good night, Gensakyo.